Here's some breaking news now. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will not seek re-election. In a video posted on social media, Pelosi's thanking the people of San Francisco and urging them to keep fighting to make the country a better place.
I will not be seeking re-election to Congress.
No!
With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service
Nancy, no!
as your proud representative. As we go forward, my message to the city...
My Pelosi is quaking. This morning I woke up and my Pelosi was quaking. And I knew there was a disturbance in the forest.
I love is this. San Francisco, know your power. We have made history. We have made progress. We have always led the way. And now we must continue to do so by remaining full participants in our democracy and fighting for the American ideals we hold dear.
ABC's Jay O'Brien's on Capitol Hill.
Bro, she's so old. She got black and white footage at the beginning of her career. Like, what the f?
With more. Jay, why make this announcement now?
Yeah, Diane, Nancy Pelosi saying she won't run for re-election because of, in part, or at least it made today, because it comes after Election Day. Nancy Pelosi was integral in Prop 50 in California. That was that redistricting effort in that state that was successful, redrawing the state's congressional maps to try to get 5 additional Democratic seats. And Nancy Pelosi's office signaled that she would release a decision about what would be next for her after Election Day. And now that this video comes out, it is the turning of a very significant page here on Capitol Hill. Someone who had an iron grip on the Democratic caucus when she was Speaker of the House. Someone who's been in caucus rather...
How is she going to keep doing insider trading if she's no longer inside? If Paul Pelosi's portfolio dips the moment that she's out of Congress, I'm going to lose my mind, bro. Straight up. Just openly being like, yeah, we were doing it the whole time.
In Congress since the late 1980s. She was the first female Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi is seen as someone who was able to bend the Democracy to her will and get things done up here on Capitol Hill. We don't know what will happen now with this seat. We don't know who is next in line for it. There's speculation up here on the Hill, but we're already starting to see some reaction trickling in from Democrats because there were some who expected this announcement, remarking so consistently, Diane, on Nancy Pelosi's strength.
Jay, Pelosi stepped down as minority leader 3 years ago, saying it was time for a new generation to lead. What does her retirement now mean for the Democratic Party?
Well, it is a new chapter in the Democratic Party, and it's just another signifier of that. When she turned over the reins to Hakeem Jeffries, now the top Democrat in the House, that was one of the first steps in the direction of a new era of Democratic leadership and a leaving of the decades, really, of Pelosi era of Democratic leadership, where you had an iron grip on the caucus, where Democrats were known for their unity, and their unity was their strength, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's a much different Democratic caucus with Hakeem Jeffries at the reins. But Nancy Pelosi, someone who was so frequently known for being a standard bearer for the Democratic caucus in the House, in her dealings with President Trump in the first term. Remember some of their fiery interactions in the Oval Office. Remember that moment where she ripped up President Trump's State of the Union in the first term. She was someone who could galvanize Democrats with her ability to stand firm in opposition to President Trump. But again, she was someone who was able to galvanize Democrats with her strength as well. We were just talking up here on the Hill about a quintessential Nancy Pelosi story that's probably less than a year.
She literally left us with Hakeem Jeffries, by the way. It's so cooked. Thank you, Nancy. All the glaze in the world, and she just cooked our asses.
Year old, where she was on a diplomatic trip overseas and she fell and shattered her hip. And still, while wearing stiletto heels, as she so typically wore and still wears, she stood up, she gripped the arm of a fellow lawmaker, she steadied herself, she posed for a group photo, and then she went to the hospital for them to treat her for a broken hip. It is that strength that...
Oh, sick. Sick. Wow, what a story of perseverance, dude. Overcoming great odds. Yeah, man, my grandma did that too. I don't think she should be one of the most powerful women in the country, you know? A position that requires dynamism. And even my grandma, especially in that moment of being reminded of her own mortality, would probably not call in to ensure that an 80-year-old cancer patient, Jerry Connolly, becomes the oversight committee head, only to die shortly thereafter. Because that's what she did. She literally made phone calls from the hospital bed being like, hey, do not mistake this reminder of my personal mortality with any sort of interest in breaking the current gerontocratic seniority process that we have. I am more I am more confident than ever before that we must have even older people in key positions of power in the Democratic Party. That's what she said.
Democrats so often rallied around, and now this is a new era.
Nancy Pelosi was much more competent as a whip than, you know, Hakeem Jeffries is. Low bar, I know. Also, what is this? Chat, what the f is this? It's like a fruit, I think, but I don't know what kind of food this is. The Congressional Budget Office hacked, according to Washington Post. A lychee? Anyway.
The Democratic Party, and it's the closing of this chapter with her deciding that she will not run for re-election come November 2026.
All right, Jay O'Brien, thank you.
Because we're going to have the lowest prices anywhere in the world.
Oh, of course, Donald Trump has some choice words for Nancy Pelosi.
And your drug prices will go down 600, 700, 800%. And I'll be given no credit for it, because I never get credit for anything. But nobody else could have done this. So, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you for your Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, press.
Nancy Pelosi. I think she's an evil woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country. I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, press.
He's gonna miss her? Nah, he hates her. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, earlier in her career, Nancy Pelosi actually advocated for single-payer healthcare. That was until she realized how much money she could make being corrupt and serving corporate interests. She will retire as just another corrupt politician who used the government to enrich herself. Or more accurately, until she realized it meant kicking union members out of their better healthcare plans and shutting down the Veterans Administration and appending Medicare. I love this argument so much. Oh, well, how will unions have an upper hand? Like, how will we get people to join unions if everybody has healthcare? I don't know. Maybe they get to advocate for different benefits instead. There's still plenty of benefits that they could demand. Now the healthcare is taken care of. It's like saying we shouldn't have OSHA regulations because that way unions can collectively bargain for additional safety measures. We shouldn't have the 5-day work week. That way unions can continue maintaining the 5-day work week, and then non-unionized employees can work for 7 days a week. Okay.
Science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
They put, dude, this is what happens when he stands near JD Vance, brother. That's what happened. Wait, replay it? I missed it?
For nearly 150
this
years,
guy, look.
My company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
RFK dipped? Wait, what? Where is RFK?
That we've been speaking about.
Why are you guys saying RFK dipped? RFK's right here.
That can fundamentally America. We've been Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay?
Oz rushes towards him. Where does RFK go? Do you guys have a better angle? I need to see his motion. Why did he run away? Is he the one responsible? What the f?
Creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay?
What the f? Dude, it's an admin full of sickos, dude. That's so funny. It's definitely the opposite. It's definitely the opposite response that you would expect of someone. Like, it's just like a not human thing to do. Why did he just go the... Bro, he walked away like he did it. He walked away like he was responsible, bro. I mean, it's funny, but he probably was looking for help. I'm assuming he was looking for help. He probably ran over to get help, but to make sure that the help didn't bring Tylenol. You know what I mean? Because, like, if someone else went to get help, they might have accidentally brought Tylenol. Newsmax's immediate response to the medical emergency at the Oval Office, President Trump we want to be clear, is okay.
Cameras, we're done rolling. Cameras.
So you're looking live right now. President Trump, we want to be clear, is okay. We know that Dr. Oz, there was some sort of medical emergency. The president in the Oval Office announcing this historic agreement.
None of the important people in the room are in any danger. Don't worry. This is the best. This actually is the best photo. This is the photo I was talking about. This is a defining photo of this administration. I love that. Just a dude dying, literally within reaching distance. And the president's like, what are you gonna do?
Mr. President, given these modifications that are being made to air travel, the other disruptions with the government shutdown, do you think it's time for Republicans in Congress to change their negotiating position at all?
In what way?
To start making concessions to Democrats?
Well, I think it's time for them to end the filibuster and just put everybody back to work. Vote in voter ID, vote in no mail-in voting except for military, faraway military, and people that are very sick. No, I'd like to see one-day voting. I'd like to see not 65 days of voting from all over the place. No, I'd like to clean up the elections. The border, we've done a great job. We have a great, strong border now, but I'd like to see new rules on immigration that can be fair and good, you know, but rules that you'll never get, rules that they're never going to get. There's so many things we could put in, including tax cuts that we could get, and we could do it all ourselves. But to do that, you have to end the filibuster. The filibuster.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Why not? Controversial opinion. I've given up on the Democrats doing this ever. So I'm glad that the Republicans are doing it. Let them do it. Guess what? Guess what? Right now, you're gonna say, oh, but the filibuster could be used as a tool to stop their legislative agenda. Brother, they are not even using the congressional powers at all. He's currently doing whatever he wants to without even using Congress. The only time the Democrats used the filibuster was for Cory Booker to pee in a diaper. Right now, whatever Trump wants in terms of his legislative agenda, he already pushes through the executive office. So at the very least, if the filibuster is gone, then that changes the dynamic of Congress altogether. That's it. The Senate would just be a smaller house. The filibuster currently is a conservative tool that Republicans use to undermine the agenda of the Democrats, because the Democrats need to build. The Democrats need to pass legislation. They need to fund things. And the Republicans will use the filibuster as a tool, which, by the way, they don't even use. They don't even actually use the filibuster in the way that they're supposed to. The way the filibuster is supposed to work is that it's a process method to basically stop a bill from being passed with a simple majority in the Senate. Because the only way to override the filibuster is a vote that requires more than just a simple majority. Okay? And normally, the only way that you're supposed to do it historically is by standing on the floor of the Senate and delivering a speech. Okay, uninterrupted. Stop eating, bro. Stop eating, holy stow. No, I will not stop eating. I'm gonna continue eating, chatter. I'm hungry. My food's not even here yet. I'm just snacking right now. I'm doing the snack segment, but after the snack segment is over, you will see me eating like actual food as well. But in any case, Uncle Sam's talking about nuking the filibuster.
Okay, but let's just be clear here.
Oh.
So first off, there's a couple of things. Trump just admitted that it's Republicans who are standing in the way of any type of legislation going forward, right? They have the ability to get rid of the filibuster. They can do this. And then he says, we're going to pass our agenda. What is our agenda? Nothing, except for trying to ensure that we can win the midterms.
Exactly.
I mean, literally nothing. This is also why it would be good for the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster, because Democrats will never do it on their own. They're too cowardly.
Yep.
They're too cowardly. They're too cowardly. And Republicans are afraid of getting rid of the filibuster too, because once you get rid of the filibuster, you actually, as a political party, have to own your decisions. You have to own them.
And the Republicans don't want to get rid of the filibuster because it benefits them disproportionately. We've said this before. You know, under Biden, there were at one point 50 Democratic senators and 50 Republican senators. And the 50 Democratic senators represented 40 million more people than the 50 Republican senators, because Montana has the same number of senators as California does. So it is undemocratic in the construction of the institution. And then you put on another layer of undemocracy of the filibuster needing a 60-vote threshold
and let's
for
be
most
clear.
legislation. Yeah.
The first thing you're talking about, that Montana and California have the exact same amount of representation in the Senate, is constitutional. The filibuster
is not.
Is just habit.
Yeah.
That's basically.
It's true. It's not a constitutional. There's no constitutional provision or anything, no constitutional amendment. It's just like something that the Senate decided to do and has continued to do. Okay. Oh, so just following Unk's talking points? What do you mean? Unk and I agree on this issue. What the f are you talking about?
Right. And they're looking at a guy with historic unpopularity right now, telling them to give up their major strategic advantage in the Senate because he wants to ram his bill through and doesn't want to have to negotiate with Democrats to save their own ass, by the way. He's worried about the midterms because...
That's it.
That's it.
He doesn't care about anything else.
But rigging it, though, or intimidating his way because he doesn't want to cave. But the problem for him is that if these ACA subsidies, they let them expire... every Republican is going to be up for re-election in the fall in 2026 in the House. They could get wiped out over that. So, I mean, he's putting them in a horrible position, which is actually good. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, you won't see Democrats saying, well, he just admitted that the Republicans, if they don't pass any legislation, it's a function of the Republicans. They have the ability to get rid of the filibuster. And let's be clear, they've done it 3 times already this year.
Yeah. Is there anything stopping them from eliminating the filibuster only to reinstitute it after? Yeah, it's when the Democrats come back into power and they do it on their own because they love hurting their own agenda. What is the purpose of the filibuster? It's just a process method to stop bills from being passed. Technically, the way the filibuster is used to work is in the Senate, you can just stop a bill from being passed by taking up space, going to the floor of the Senate and speaking, okay, uninterrupted. And for as long as you could go uninterrupted, you could stop the passage of this bill, okay, by yapping. And the only way to overcome this filibuster was with not a simple majority vote, but instead a supermajority vote. Okay? And historically, people have done funny things, silly things, whatever, right? However, because our gerontocracy has gotten even older than ever before, somewhere along the way, we realized nobody even wants to stand up. So the mere threat of a filibuster was all that was necessary, which is why most of these bills that could be passed with a simple majority do not get passed with a simple majority because everyone threatens that they will filibuster. Now you can just threaten to filibuster it, and like people basically operate as though you need a supermajority to pass bills in Congress. You need a supermajority to stop a filibuster in Congress. That's it. Okay.
They did it to roll back cafe standards, I think it was, in California. There was 2 other times that they literally nuked the filibuster. And they could do it here. And if they do, though, that means Democrats have a license now to do it.
Yeah.
And Chuck Schumer is very afraid of that. There are Democrats who are afraid of that because you don't want like, you need a built-in excuse. That's why Cuomo created the IDC, is because he needed a cover as to why he wasn't signing off on progressive legislation because it would interfere with the donors. Let's get rid of the filibuster. I am with Donald Trump on this. That's the thing. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I agree with Donald Trump. Let's get rid of the filibuster and allow the Republicans to do what they're doing.
Yes. And a part of the reason why Sam is saying this, and I agree with him on this, is because Republicans already get their agenda across anyway. Like, they're currently passing everything through the executive mandate. Like, it's insane because Republicans don't necessarily need the great deliberative body to, especially when they're in power, they don't need the great deliberative body of the Senate to enact out their agenda. Their agenda is deregulation. Their agenda is tax cuts. They already passed the tax cuts. They did that with simple majority through the funding mechanism, so it doesn't matter, right? So for that reason, they low-key are doing whatever the fuck they want to do without the filibuster. So the filibuster in and of itself is only going to be a hurdle for the Democrats down the line if they ever get back into power. Unless, of course, these very same Democrats are trying not to enact a legislative agenda, and they can use the filibuster to claim that they have another hurdle. But yeah, I agree with Uncle Sam on that.